In a dangerous forest, Touko is saved by a firecatcher, who defeats the monster but gets killed too. Kanata, the firecatcher's dog, survives and gives Touko his master's sickle. Touko's family tells her to travel and give the firecatcher's things to his family. After a big war and a dangerous weapon, humans catch fire near flames. So, they need energy from flame creatures to survive. Brave firecatchers hunt these creatures for them. The next day, Touko's relative accompanies her as she leaves the city to fulfill her mission of delivering the firecatcher's belongings to his family. And so, Touko leaves the city in a vehicle that resembles a worm. In another part of the world, a boy named Koushi, born in the capital city, takes care of his younger sister after their mother dies from factory poison. When Koushi gets home, he finds a letter from a wealthy man named Okibi. The next day starts with Touko meeting Hotaru, Binio, and Kaho. They talk about their situations. Then, Sakuroku asks Touko and Kanata to follow him. Touko gets put to work scrubbing toilets by Shuzo. After she finishes her job, Shuzo tells her that it's time to eat. Later, she learns about the bride's beliefs and the challenges they face. Hotaru, Binio, and Kaho don't want to get married, but they feel like they have to because they think it's their duty to break curses in their villages by becoming brides. At night, Kaho gives Touko a stone she dropped earlier and advises her to sleep better since Touko's noises are bothering her. Meanwhile, Koushi visits the Okibi family mansion and receives an offer from Uoshichi, who wants him to work for them. Uoshichi reveals information about Koushi's father and offers him luxurious treatment and a chance to work with his father's legacy. Meanwhile, Touko and her friends encounter a fire hunter and a dangerous situation involving a flame fiend. Kanata protects Touko, but their actions lead to consequences, with Touko being told she can't continue to the capital. The next episode starts with Uoshichi showing Koushi and his sister Hinako their rooms in the mansion. Uoshichi leaves, and Kira, his daughter, tells Koushi that the family's doctor needs to talk to him about Hinako's health. The doctor explains Hinako has a condition called fetal contamination, which can't be cured, but can be managed with proper care. Koushi and Kira bond over their names' meanings and their upbringing. At dinner, they enjoy a meal together. Meanwhile, Touko's reckless behavior worries the doctor, who reminds her she'll have to leave at Weaver Village. Hotaru explains Touko's situation to Binio, who finds it absurd. Binio talks to Shuzo about it, but he can't help much. They reach Weaver Village, where Hotaru gets a farewell gift. The worker assures them Kaho will recover. Before leaving, she tells Binio that Touko and Kanata can continue with them to the capital. Then, A1 says goodbye to Hotaru as she leaves. Uoshichi takes Koushi to a secret room where he wants him to work on his father's legacy, the Skyfire. They discuss the threat of spiders and the need for people to protect themselves. Uoshichi asks Koushi to keep their conversation confidential. Meanwhile, the collection truck stops, and Kanata goes hunting with Izumo's fire hunter. Shuzo tells Touko that Sakuroku is impressed by her work. An alarm goes off, and they realize they're under attack by a dragon flame fiend. Binio, Touko, and Kaho escape from the white dragon's attack. They find out Kaho's doctor died in the chaos. They flee with the help of Shuzo. Meanwhile, Kanata, Izumo, and Izumo's fire hunter face off against the dragon. During their escape, Kaho reveals the dragon is worshipped as the guardian deity of her village. Sadly, the situation worsens when the dragon kills Binio in front of Touko. Elsewhere, Koushi, Kira, and Hinako spend time at the mansion. Koushi wants access to the central archive for his work. He strikes a deal with Uoshichi to get what he needs and learns about the spiders. Meanwhile, Shuzo helps Touko and Kaho find refuge with the tree folk. They provide medicine and explain how the spiders cause the dragon's madness. At the mansion, Koushi visits the library and learns about flame fiends and the legend of Touko Hanaheim from his former teacher, Mr. Hitu. Then Koushi leaves the library with new knowledge. Meanwhile, Touko and her friends are guided by the tree folk, but get attacked. They're saved by a fire hunter named Akira and her dog, Temari. Akira agrees to help them reach the capital through a dangerous forest. Touko offers her Muku paper in exchange for protection. They rest in a cave where Touko shares about her friend, Kanata. Akira talks about her interest in Muku paper and mentions something called the flickering flame. Meanwhile, Koushi attends a party and meets a fire hunter named Roroku, who offers to teach him about skyfire. Back with Touko's group, they meet a kid named Kun, who turns out to be a spider. As they try to escape, they're attacked by flame fiends. Akira apologizes for not keeping them safe and praises Touko's bravery. They learn about Kun's sad story before a flame fiend whale shows up suddenly. Touko and her friends meet a strange whale that guards memories of the dead. They worry about Shuzu's injuries, but refuse to let the whale take him away. Meanwhile, Koushi meets Roroku and his dog, Mysore, in the forest. They fight some fiery monsters, and then they meet some men who work for a guy named Mr. Okibi. These men captured a spider and want to know about the spider's powers. Back in the city, Touko and her friends find a place to stay. They learn about Shuzu's injuries from a doctor. They talk about what to do next, with Kaho wanting to help Shuzu and Touko wanting to return Kanata to his family. The next day, they go to get medicine for Shuzu, but Kanata gets distracted. They visit Kanata's old home, but get scared away by a strange man. They run away from the officer and get lost. Then Kira, Mr. Okibi's daughter, ends up finding Touko. Touko tells Kira how she and Kanata got lost. Kira gives Touko some candy to cheer her up. Touko decides to go back to find their way with Kanata. Meanwhile, Kira talks to Koushi about what happened with Roroku and the spider. Kira says her dad worries about Koushi, but still thinks he owns him. Despite that, Kira believes her parents are good people. She tells Koushi she saw a girl with a dog named Kanata, which surprises him. Later, Koushi meets with Uoshichi and talks about fallbeasts and skyfire. He shows Uoshichi some pictures and explains his plan to protect their homeland. Meanwhile, rumors about spiders invading the capital spread. Back at the shelter, Touko checks on Kanata and Kaho watches over Shuzu. Akira and Kun arrive, and they all have lunch together. Akira used to work in a factory and feels bad for not protecting Shuzu. After lunch, Kaho plans to marry Shuzu and take care of him. Akira leaves to hunt for money to pay the doctor. Touko asks Kanata to take her to his family's home. At Kanata's home, they find a strange creature, but Koushi arrives and saves them. He tells them the creature was a spy and hugs Kanata tightly. Koushi reveals he's related to Kanata's fire hunter and shares a touching moment with Touko. Koushi warns Touko to leave the capital because of possible trouble with the spiders. Touko agrees and plans to go to the Forbidden Quarter for medicine for Shuzu. Koushi agrees to take her there, but a spy plans to follow them.
Koushi and Touko talk about a place called the Garden of the Gods.
They find a lone tree folk who leads them deeper into the forest. Touko tells Koushi about her journey to the capital, and they discuss the lady goddess Tairaheim and her sister Tako Hanahima, the first fire hunter. They meet more tree folk who tell them about a forbidden quarter where medicine can be found. Koushi asks about an upcoming war, but the tree folk don't share much. A female tree folk named Kiri is angry at their arrival and sends a fiery beast after them. But they're saved by an elder tree folk named Yanaji, who explains the origin of the flame fiends. Yanaji tells them about Tako Hanahima's creation of fire sickles and argues for culling the population to save the planet. Koushi and Touko leave with plans to get medicine for Shuzu. As they leave, they're attacked by spies, but Akira and her dog Temari save them. Later, Touko arrives at Shuzu's shelter and learns about his condition. Hinako hugs Kanata with tears in her eyes. The elder tree folk predicts the arrival of Tako Hanahima and warns of the flickering flame's wrath as a strange satellite circles the planet. Koushi tells Hinako about their father's death and then leaves the room. He then meets Akari, who thank him for helping with Shuzu's medical expenses. Then Koushi talks with Mr. Okibi, Akari, and Roroku about the spiders and their plan to attack the capital. Later, Koushi meets Hibari, who claims to be Yoko Hanaheim. Hibari warns about the impending spider attack. The next day, Koushi demonstrates his bottled lightning launcher to Mr. Takaguchi and Ibushi. Koushi reveals a book belonging to Akari's brother, linking them together. Akari plans to submit an appeal to the palace using Touko's Muku paper. Touko wants to join her to prevent further bloodshed and sees potential in Akira becoming the new lord of the Fire Hunters. Both Touko and Akari gaze at the stars, thinking about their future. Hinako falls ill with a severe fever, and Kanata acts strangely around the doctor. Koushi overhears Kira's mother planning to send Hinako to the hospital. Suddenly, Hinako becomes aggressive and escapes the mansion, with Kanata chasing after her. Meanwhile, Touko and Akira set out to deliver an appeal to the gods. They encounter Hibari, who reveals the gods' plans to create a new vessel for the flickering flame. Hibari attacks Akira, but she learns that fresh human blood can defeat the spirits. Kan arrives to help, and they confront Hibari. Meanwhile, Koushi learns about Hinako's disappearance and confronts Uoshichi about his wife's use of illegal substances. Roroku informs Koushi about flame fiends entering the factory district, and Touko encounters a baboon, flame fiend, and the tree folk boy, leading to a fierce battle. The episode ends with Kira being worried about her mother's health. If you enjoyed watching my video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and leave a comment below suggesting which anime you'd like me to watch and recap next. Until then, see you next time.